Good morning. Welcome to Write With Me. I am Danita Jones, and here we do two 25-minute sprints with a 5 or 10-minute break in between. Sorry, I'm a little late, about 4 minutes late. I was busy writing my Substack that I'm releasing today, and so just really trying to get back also in the habit of getting my Substacks out there. And so I thought, you know what? I had been doing this Write With Me at 5 a.m., but if I have time and energy, I will write my Substack before I come on here at 6:30 a.m. Pacific time. So I'm continuing my research on Peter Crosby and the Vicksburg massacre, and I am in the testimony of, who did I leave off with yesterday? Isaac Mosley. So he is a Black man, and I'm about to dive into his. I finished Emma Wiggins yesterday. I think that was, yeah, Emma Wiggins yesterday, and where she talked about her husband who was killed during the massacre. So, all right. So, if we're ready, let's get started into our first 25-minute sprint. So, Christmas. Oh, before Christmas, so that was a whole nother, it's a whole other time. Well past the week of the massacre. Like 2 weeks afterwards. Wow. So this continued. Cook was about 60 years old. May 12th. George was 25. Wow. Good morning, Amy. Okay, cool. You're planning and journaling for the first sprint. Awesome. All right, time for the first break. I don't know why we're on resetting this here. Anyway, there we go. All right. So good morning, good morning, good morning, Amy. Yes, you tried to log in early. I was about 3 minutes late. I was writing my Substack this morning, got caught up in writing that. And so I was like, oh, I got to hop on. So sorry about that. And so you say you are planning and journaling this first sprint. Okay, great. How did it go? I say it went great. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, you know how that goes, right? Yep. And so I am still continuing my research. I'm in the testimonies of the congressional hearings for the Vicksburg massacre. And I'm in Isaac Mosley's testimony, and he is introducing me to a whole bunch of other people that I did not hear about in all of these other hundreds of pages. And there are three gentlemen that he mentions that were killed. And this was after the week that the massacre kicked off. What I read in one person's dissertation about the events, that it did go over a number of weeks regarding the massacre. It just wasn't that 1 week, but everything I have read so far was, as far as the testimonies are concerned, was just condensed into the week of December 7th. But this gentleman, Isaac, said that it was a week before Christmas where these other killings happened. So there was three men, George Shepard, let's see here, Emmanuel Tolls, and someone by the last name of Cook. And Cook was around 60 years old. The other two, I think, were in their, well, at least Emmanuel was in his 20s. I'm not for sure how old George is. I bet I have it up there somewhere. But let's see. Okay, you're switching to shopping. And so it's just really, as I've gone through like the testimony from that I did yesterday with Emma Wiggins, talking about her husband that was killed. So there are so many people that were killed during this time. And when I think about the testimony of the mayor and Captain Baird, more specifically Captain, because he played it off like a lot of things that these things didn't happen or there weren't many. But the mayor originally had like large numbers, which contradicted what Captain has said. And Captain is the one that the mayor had sent out to control the crowds or make sure Black people did not come into town. So yeah, but as I'm going through these other later testimonies, especially from the Black people, they were like, no, these, this person got killed, this person got killed, seeing their bodies laying just in the street. It's just was just a horrific time. Let's see. Amy says, okay, you're switching to shopping. You say our carpet is being installed in the new house this week. So I'm looking for storage and organization for the new bathroom cabinets, different dimensions than what we have now. I hear you. Yeah, man, I wish I could I have time to do anything or even the funds to do anything for my place here. Yeah, no, definitely for this Vicksburg massacre, truly dark days. It really was. And that's why I think when you were here last week, I think when I started working on or drafting some other ideas out, because I need to work on something else while working on this. As you were saying, do you get depressed with the research? I do sometimes, it really, uh, I have to kind of shield myself from, knowing that, that this happened, this is in the past and so forth. But it does affect me because I'm like, these are real people. They went through some horrific things. I mean, when you think about Peter Crosby's wife, who, Peter is the one that that pretty much the cause of the Vicksburg massacre is because they were trying to help him get back into office. But his wife, she aborted her own baby during the time when everyone was coming after them and killing all of her neighbors and so forth. She just could not bring her child into the world, and knowing what was going on, And when that particular story just hit me so hard because when I had read all the other stories of comments about her leading up to that, there were many times where you would hear that Peter was telling his wife, "Don't be anxious, don't be anxious. Everything's going to be okay." But she was really concerned and scared, not only for her life, but for her husband's life. And at that time they had not had any children yet. She was pregnant at that time, and so she lost that baby. But later down the road, they end up having children. But that's just to think that she put herself through that, because it was just so incredibly terrifying. It was, here people don't talk about it much, but it was really domestic terrorism here. All of the white supremacy. It was just, you know, just really wrenching times. So so yes, I do things to try to protect my mental space when I'm writing about things of this nature. And like I said before, I have started um, working on some other lighthearted pieces, a rom com. I start mapping out more of an outline of that, just so that I can have something else, in my head while I'm still working on this project. And yeah, so that's where I'm at with that. Well, let's go ahead and get into our next sprint. Amy, you said, I'm glad you are making that shift to keep your balance. Yes, it's so important to do that. And for anyone out there that's writing period pieces that dealing with things of this nature, really give yourself that mental space or break so that you won't be so it's uh, it's really deep. And a lot of the research is, and I don't talk about it so much here live, but very graphic details about what happened to all the individuals. So all right, let's get back into our next sprint. So like just like here, okay, graphic alert, just so that you know. Here I'm just coming across the details about the people that were killed, the three people. Like all of them were shot. Two of them, not only were they shot, but their necks were sliced, other, throat was cut. And then also two of them had their ears cut off. And so it's just, this is horrifying, you know? Alrighty. That is time. Let's see here. Let's see, catch up here. Wish me luck in finding storage bins that will fit in 3-inch cabinet. Yes, wishing you luck, Amy, on that. Shanae, good morning. You're working on your novella pages this morning. Jerry, welcome. You worked on some writing and updating your YouTube channel. That's great. And Amy saying hi to everyone. Tab doesn't work on my phone. Okay, cool. So yes, this and I gotta figure out how to set this. We're gonna change anyway. Today, like I was talking to Amy earlier, I'm in Isaac Mosley's testimony, and his testimony has revealed a lot more information of people that I didn't even know about that were killed during this time, and he gave graphic details of what was done to the men's bodies that were killed by these white men that came into town. And this happened after the week of what we known as the massacre, but it went on weeks in, and according to him, it was like the week before Christmas. So the massacre started December 7th, and so just that these men came through and said basically, I'm going to take 2 N-words lives for every white man that was killed, and but they pretty much they mutilated their bodies. It was just very, very graphic. And then they said they're going to do with whatever they wanted to do with the women, the wives that were left. And it seemed he didn't name the actual people who did the killings, but he said that they were part of the companies of certain regiments there that were part of the Civil War. So these were all I'm assuming because they were part of those particular companies, they most likely were in the Civil War and fighting on the fighting for the South, basically. So Amy said, "That's so sick. How much of all of this detail will be in your book?" Yeah, I'm going to I will lay it out. Yeah, I will. Because I feel like people need to know what happened. I'm not going to sugarcoat what happened, but it won't be so heavy that it would be like a horror film. It will be more like a horror book. It will be more of a thriller, but I will ground it in the humanity of the people that, survived and who lived this life and who actually the ones that didn't even survive. Because I want to focus on the resilience of the people of this town, and it wasn't just this town. There were so many massacres that happened in the South, and not just in the South. I mean, if you look on my TikTok or even on some of my Substacks, I have a map up there that covered like all of the massacres that happened between the 1800s and early 1900s. There were a lot. It wasn't just Tulsa. People just really started finding out about Tulsa back in 2020. But there were so many more, and there are a lot of books, fictional books too, written about historical fiction books written about like the Colfax massacre, and there's a lot that's out there, so yeah, but it's really it's mind-blowing, and it's so courageous of Isaac Mosley speaking in great detail of what happened and naming the names that he does know. Because a lot of times what I have found too, going through the testimonies, that um, many of the people who committed these crimes were actually in the courthouse. And so they're facing the people that they know killed or threatened their lives. And some of the earlier testimonies that I went over, two in particular want to um, did not want to testify in the open forum because those people were actually in the courtroom, and they stated that they felt their lives were threatened. And so the committee um, pulled them aside into another room to talk to them. But then when the committee revealed that this stuff will still be public knowledge, those people still end up not saying much at all, because they're like, we live in this town, we've got to live here, and our lives are threatened. So, yeah. Amy said, resilience is a powerful message, and it will help you stay focused on the hope. Exactly. Absolutely. Absolutely. So thank you all for being here today on this is Wednesday, right? On hump day, getting your writing in, getting your projects worked on, and so forth. I will be here tomorrow, bright and early at 6:30 a.m. And have a great day. All right. Bye-bye.